The meeting will come to order. Mrs. Gore, will you call the roll, please?
Present.
Present. Present.
Present.
Present.
Mr. Benjamin, I'm going to ask you to say the pledge to lead us in the pledge to the flag, and also please remain standing for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Gore, do we have any citizens' comments? Okay, thank you very much. We are going to go ahead and move to approval of the agenda. I move to amend the proposed agenda by removing 9A, approval of the superintendent's evaluation instrument, to the meeting in January. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Kay Williams and a second by Dr. Viox. Is there any discussion? I'll start the discussion. Mr. Mayo and I got together in October to get our performance objectives together for the evaluation. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have not had an opportunity to get with him since. November was kind of a bad month for me personally, so that was a time that I could have gotten with him, but unfortunately that would not happen. So I do think that it's in the best interest that we wait until January to look at the performance objectives and make sure that Mr. Mayo is satisfied with the instrument, and also that we have tweaked it the way that we want it to be. So if you would be patient with us, the policy does say we have till January 31st, so we'll still be following in line with policy, and we did follow the policy by deciding on performance objectives in October. So that is my reason for the motion. Is there any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. All right, the motion is carried. Now let's move to approve the December 15th, 20 agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, goodness. Brain fog. All right, we had a motion by Mr. Benjamin. We had a second by Dr. Viox. Thank you, Mr. Benjamin.
You're welcome.
Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. All right, the proposed amended agenda has passed. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate that very much. Now, I have a little bit of brain fog tonight, but at any rate, Mr. Mayo just reminded me that we have a very important presentation tonight, and I am so excited about it to be at our meeting in December, because this is the time that we certainly want to be positive and congratulate people. So, Mr. Mayo, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. The presentation that I'd like to make tonight is to Mr. Sean Perry, who is the plant manager at Arlington Elementary School. Wait, there you go, Mr. Perry, let everybody know who you are. We're gonna have you up here in just a minute. Mr. Perry, I'm gonna read a letter that I received last week, and I want you to listen to this letter because it's something that's never happened before. And Mr. Perry, and of course, the rest of the staff at Arlington Elementary, along with administration, helped make this happen. But we know that this falls on Mr. Perry if things are not happening. He's the first person we're going to come to. So, but likewise, because this is an honor, you're the first person we're going to honor for this tonight. So this letter says, Dear Mr. Mayo, the mandated occupational safety and health inspection has been completed for Arlington Elementary School for the 2021 school year. I appreciated meeting with Ms. Anna Jones, principal, and Mr. Sean Perry, plant manager, who assisted me during the inspection. The staff needs to be commended on their interest and commitment to the safety and health of the overall facility. The overall cleanliness and appearance of the school is exceptional, and that reflects a dedicated and professional attitude with attention to details. The safety attention given to the recent COVID virus is commendable. And then he has this in all caps and bold. In all of my tenure dealing with the OSHA laws and guidelines since 1970, I have never inspected a facility without at least some minor discrepancies. Congratulations to Arlington Elementary for being the first and hopefully not the last. Thanks to everyone for your concern and support. If I may be of assistance, please call. Mr. Perry is to be commended on his professionalism and attention to the safety of the school. He is doing a great job for Arlington Elementary School. Sincerely, Mr. Don McKee, Occupational Safety and Health Specialist. Dr. Don McKee, I should say. So, Mr. Perry, with that, I want to give you a round of applause. Since 1970, he's been doing this. Wow. That's a big deal.
That is, yep.
Thank you so much for all that you do. Appreciate it.
I believe you mentioned Mrs. Jones in there too.
He did, Mr. Jones. But we don't want you to feel left out. So we'd like for you to come up to the podium at this time as well. Just stand, turn around, or do whatever you want to do. Just everybody look at you. Yes. We tricked Miss Jones tonight. We did want to honor Mr. Perry, obviously, because that's a big deal, and with him making history in Arlington Community Schools, and it sounds like pretty much the state, because Dr. McKee, he goes all over to every school district across the state to do those inspections. But we did kind of trick Miss Jones into coming tonight to stick around, because we want to honor her on the occasion of her retirement. She's retiring effective December 31st as principal of Arlington Elementary School. And she's not one that likes a big party. I've already been warned by the school when I reached out to them. They told me, she doesn't want to make a big deal about this. And I said, well, we're going to kind of make a big deal about it anyway, because we want to honor her for the work that she's done for the school district. So with that, Ms. Jones, we have a plaque, a retirement plaque for you. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to ask them to come down and present it to you, okay? It says, in recognition of service presented to Anna Jones, Arlington Elementary School, in recognition and appreciation on this occasion of your retirement from Arlington Community Schools and for the contributions you have made to our community, our schools, and our students, December 31st, 2020. And I personally want to thank you for sticking around, because I know your plans originally were to retire at the end of last school year, and you are the best phone call that I received in April once I was appointed to this position. The best phone call that I received was from Anna Jones asking me and saying, hey, I've been thinking about maybe I might want to stay a little bit longer. And so then I begged her and said, yes, please, Anna, can you please stay? And I told her, I said, even if you get there and you want to leave in 2 weeks, I will work with you if you will help me start this school year under these crazy situations. But she gave me a whole semester So I'm appreciative of that. And I just want to thank you for all that you've done, the leadership you provided at Arlington Elementary. It's a phenomenal school. Ms. Tanya Hawkins has big shoes to fill, but we know we're confident that she's going to be able to do that. I didn't mean that. Literally, okay?
Oh, is that on?
But I don't know if you've noticed or not, but your staff has joined us tonight because they couldn't be here. And so we created a little Zoom link behind your back and sent that out to all of them so that they could be here tonight, because we didn't want them to miss this occasion either. And I just want to say again, thank you for all that you've done. We appreciate you. We're envious of you at the same time that you're getting ready to explore this new adventure. But you've worked for it, you've earned it, and we're very proud of you for that. So I'm going to come down now and present you with this.
Can I say something?
Now, board members, would you, any of you like to say anything?
Oh, I do. Hurry up and say it. Can this now?
Does she want to, do you want to say something first, Anna?
Thank you.
Well, I have known Anna Jones and respected her so much as a colleague as well as a friend, and I just think she is going to be greatly missed, and her work ethic and her care for her students is just second to none. And what a fine, fine person. And now I look forward, since you're retired, to having lunch with you. So I'm looking forward to it, Anna, and I'm so happy for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I kind of felt like when I looked up and started seeing faces, I believe this is a trap. Thank you. Yes, I like to recognize people, but I don't like to be at the front of the line. But it's going to be very hard to leave. There's been a lot of tears the past 2 weeks. I went around to every classroom today and gave the kids all a letter. And yep, I'm done. But thank you. It's going to be very hard to leave this place. Everyone here, everybody in that building, you know, Mr. Perry, the cafeteria, I'm just part of it. It's all of them. Even the parents, everything about that school is great, and it just kind of sounds ridiculous to say, but it's really just true. So I'm just a little part of it, but I'm glad I've been a part of it, and I really could almost stay, but I just don't know if I do stay, when is the right time to leave? So I stayed in the summer because I figured, well, I can't travel, do anything else. I might as well. Didn't tell
I thought it was
Mayo that. So the first semester has been great, and the district support. I think the schools are all going to be fine. The kids are fine. It's the adults that have the problems, and the kiddos just keep on going. So it's going to be hard to leave and not be able to get back in that building. Will my key fob still work after I'm not going? So it's going to be hard to stay away, but thank you. I just love this district, and Mr. Mayo's doing an amazing job. Not that I get to critique him or anything, but
Hey, you can now.
okay. I can say a lot of things now.
That's
can't I?
right, exactly.
So my Facebook messages may change a little bit, but may also change my name. So, but no, I'll stop all my head. Thank you very much.
Well, your favorite 4 letters in the alphabet will now be called TCRS.
Yes, yeah, those are great letters.
That's your favorite 4 letters.
Ms. Jones, I would just like to say to you, as a board member that started my career at Arlington Elementary when it was total open space, with that lady back there in my classroom, and it was an awesome school then. And now being a board member and seeing how you have continued with the awesomeness and made it even better, it's just really wonderful, and you very much will be missed. And we're just grateful for everything that you've done since you've been with us. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to say something too, because I get a vantage point too as not only a board member, but as a father of many students that have gone through there. And so I'm just, I never worried about my children. And now that I'm a husband of a teacher, I've got a lot of vantage points. And so watching Carol, to work for her and listen to her talk about your leadership is really inspiring. And so I think you've taken from what we were and you've made it greater than it possibly ever thought it could have been. And so I'm just thankful for you. I'm thankful for your love and care for the people that work for you and work with you. And your love for your children, it obviously shows in the way that that school is, the way you're leaving it. I think most of us would love to be able to say that we walked away from a job and leaving things in the place the way that you're leaving them. So thank you very much.
I guess I'll bring up the rear and just say, having all my kids gone through there too, I just can't thank you enough. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Dix.
Okay, don't sit down yet,
Okay.
because Mayor Wisman now has some remarks that he would like to make. Do what?
I've set these down twice now, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna sit down.
Yeah. They got water in them.
You need to stand over here and do this, I don't know,
It's whatever you want to do.
this is so awkward. And
I think it is for you.
It is, and I know it is every day for you all. First of all, on a moment of privilege, I just wanna thank you all, and that's everybody, and those, and the people on the screen, I don't know where they can see. Just for the job that you all have done, I've bragged that I've never been, it's been the most challenging year, not only since I've been elected, but I think it's a challenging year for every one of us probably, since you've been teaching and stuff. I mean, you probably other instances, but I've never been more proud to be able to say the job that we've done, not just as a region, but every time I'm here in Arlington. I mean, as much as I think Mr. May and I talk quite a bit, as much as we expect to hear complaints on certain things, most people are happy with the fact that we're trucking along, and the majority of what's going on is because you all got kids back in school. And we couldn't do it without the teachers, of course, more than anybody, but all of you in this room. And it's been a blessing to be able to navigate through this challenging time, knowing that our kids are in good hands. So thank you all for that. As far as you say that you like to you don't like to take credit, and you're just kind of part of a team, but every team has to have a leader, and you've displayed that exemplary. You've been a part of this community, so I just wanted to read something, a little history. There's a lot of whereases in here, but just wanted to give you something in recognition from the town to know that we love the job that you have done. So bear with me for it. Can everybody hear me with this? Okay. This is a proclamation, whereas Anna Jones, a 22-year educator, the University of Memphis graduate, got her start as a teacher at Arlington Elementary School in Bartlett, Tennessee. And whereas teaching was not always her first career, her path to becoming an educator involved kids, but in a different way, being a mother of 3. And whereas she served as a second grade teacher at Arlington Elementary from 2008 to 2009, and whereas she served as assistant principal from 2009 to 2015, and as principal from 2015 to 20, and whereas as her career flourished, she was nominated as a finalist as Principal of the Year in 2019 for outstanding service in education and exceptional leadership that drove overall improvements for Arlington Elementary in the state. And whereas in 2019, she was named Shelby County Municipal Principal of the Year by the Tennessee Department of Education. Whereas after 12 years at Arlington Elementary, she will be retiring from teaching on December 18, 2020. However, she will still be greatly involved with advocating for teachers and educators across the western side of Tennessee, as well as making sure future education legislation is written. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mike Wisman, Mayor of the Town of Arlington, do hereby personally and on behalf of the citizens of the Town of Arlington, proclaim December 18, 2020, Anna Jones Day for all her dedication and hard work as an educator for Arlington Community Schools and her service to the children in our community. Thank you very much. Sorry, those were getting long. But thank you again for everything you've done.
Be seated now, Mr. With your flower.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Very nice, I appreciate it.
We're gonna miss you.
Absolutely.
And you've got somebody great sitting there, so.
Yes,
I know.
yes. Thank you, Ms. Jones. You're going to be missed for sure. And I do want to say, since Ms. Hawkins is here in the audience, congratulations to you, Ms. Tanya Hawkins. We're so proud of you, and we know what a great job you will do. So Arlington Elementary is in the best of hands, I agree. Chairman's report. First of all, I just want to say, take this opportunity to say how much I appreciate the positive working relationship that I have this year with our school board and also with our superintendent, Mr. Mayo. I think that these working relationships in this very difficult time have really changed the culture of our school district. And our leader, Mr. Mayo, has certainly done an unbelievable, outstanding job with the help of his executive staff, teachers, and all of our employees. I just want to say the culture that has been built has been one of teamwork and everybody supporting each other to make this school district successful. And that's what's happened in this pandemic. And I think that is unbelievable. And I'm glad the mayor said those words, and I appreciate you saying those because I have never seen people work as hard for our students in Arlington's community schools. I just, if I had a hat, I'd take it off to you. But I just have to say the teamwork and the positive culture and environment that we all have been working in together, I certainly think it's made our school system, our school district more successful. And so I really appreciate that very, very much. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Williams, those comments. I want to echo what Ms. Williams said, and I always want to remind everyone of the work that the employees are doing to get us through this. We have 2.5 days left, and we will have completed the semester successfully without a school closure, and that's phenomenal, and that's attributed to the work that all of our staff members have done. I mean, it doesn't matter what your role is, it's taken every single employee to make that happen, and I couldn't be prouder of the work that's been done this first semester. I particularly want to thank the folks sitting right out here, my executive staff, because they're the think tank. When we have an issue, you know, we go into our think tank mode, and we don't leave there until we have a resolution for it. And we bounce things off, we agree, we disagree, but we come out with what we feel is a pretty effective solution once we've done that. And so I want to thank them publicly again for the work that they do, keeping us straight, keeping me straight mainly. Board members, you have Christmas gifts from the district that you have in front of you, a Christmas gift. Mr. Overby will be available for a required professional development session immediately following the board meeting. I promise it'll be fast. Not really. If you don't have time, he can catch up with you another time. But anyway, he is here to help you with that very quickly. All of you know by now that our school district was named the top workplace in the Memphis metro area. Not only were we named the top workplace, we were named the third top workplace in the Mid-South area. And we were the only school district to place in the top 3. So I'm very proud of that recognition. And again, hats off to our employees, because they're the ones that took the survey, and they're the ones that really voted and had the confidence in the district this year. And I'm particularly proud of that this year because you know, it could have gone either way. They had confidence in us and what we were doing, or they didn't have confidence in us. And because of that recognition that the employees have expressed that confidence. That makes me very proud of the district. I do want to show the hardware, swag, whatever you want to call it, that we receive. Typically, we get to go to a banquet and a really nice breakfast banquet where they present this to us. But this year that, of course, wasn't possible, along with many other things, but it doesn't make it any less of an honor that we receive that as a district, so I'm very proud of that. I did have an opportunity to talk with Commissioner Tammy Sawyer yesterday, and those of you who know or may not know that she is the education chair for the county commission this year, so I was happy that she reached out and wanted to have a conversation. We talked about funding, we talked about CIP projects, we talked about COVID. She asked me were there any things that we needed, so I took that opportunity and I went through the entire CIP plan for this year and for the next 2 years going out, and without shame asked her for money to help fund those projects, because we know if we get more funding from county commission, we can accelerate our projects or adopt new projects that we can better our facilities for our employees and for our students. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what comes of that, if anything, but I felt like it was a real good conversation to get started. Second semester planning, I want to give you all an update on that. We're ready to roll January the 4th. Our principals and staff have worked hard to have their plans ready. I think I talked with you last month about the number of students that we thought would be coming back versus the number that would be going out. And overall, we are netting back probably, I think it was about, I want to say 120 students coming back from online learning to in-person learning. And we really have about that same number going out that have opted for that at the high school. The high school is our biggest area where more kids are going remote than are coming back. And in every other school, our elementary schools and our middle school, we see the opposite effect. I think we have maybe 2 students at Donaldson and maybe 2 at Arlington Elementary that are opting to go remote. The rest of them are coming back to the tune of about 36 or 39 students in each of those schools. So we've been measuring. We've gone over and visited both the elementary schools with my ruler to make sure the rooms were strategically placed, and they were. And we've also, we're in the process of hiring a teacher assistant for each of the elementary schools, so that if we do have an overflow class, we can immediately address that and have somewhere to send those students, similar to what the middle school has done with their virtual hubs. But if we're not utilizing it, we're not going to start the semester having to utilize any learning hubs at the elementary schools, which is really great. I didn't think we would be there, but we are. And I know the elementary principals are relieved, because that's something that's just given them a lot of heartburn this whole semester. But I'm proud to say we're not going to have to start that way. But we will be utilizing those instructional assistants for helping those students who are coming back to school for the first time since March, helping them get up to par in the classroom, because they may not qualify for other intervention services or perhaps special education services. They're just going to need some acclimation assistance in getting back in the classroom, and so those assistants are going to be able to provide that for those students second semester. So we're excited about offering that opportunity. I will give you an update on our COVID cases for currently where we are. As far as students are concerned, we have had 139 positive cases with students. That's about 2.8% of our student population when you look at overall our enrollment. We've had 920 students placed in quarantine. Some of those students have been in quarantine more than one time. About 15.1% of quarantine cases were positive. So, there's been calls for those quarantines, and we felt like in most every situation we have we've seen the result that the quarantine was necessary and it was called for because additional students who had been in close contact with a positive student did become positive. So overall, 2.8%, I think that's a good number. I mean, we don't want any of our students to have it, but looking at what we're doing, I think the controls are in place that are keeping that at a minimal. As far as employees are concerned, we have about 485 employees. We've had 36 employees to test positive, and that gives us about a 7% positivity rate. And we've also had about a 7% quarantine rate among employees. So we're keeping up with that as well. Overall, I'm very pleased with that, considering the state of affairs of our community and our state and our nation. And I know that's continuing to rise, but I feel like in our schools we've been able to manage that and keep that as contained and controlled as possible. Our biggest issue, of course, has been with sports. We made the decision not to shut down sports, but to have our parents understand that if they are going to play sports, there's a risk involved in that, and that risk is you can either test positive or you're going to have to be quarantined if you want your child to participate in that. So with that, we've been able to manage our contact sports as well. Moving on to stockpile days, if you'll recall, you remember that we used 4 of our stockpile days at the beginning of the year to prolong the start of school by 5 days. The state only charges 4 for that. We got 1 free day out of it. So now we've got 4 stockpile days left for inclement weather for the rest of the year. And since we're getting to that point where we may see some inclement weather, it's important for us to discuss that. The good news is once we run out of those 4 stockpile days, if we have a 5th inclement weather day or beyond that, we are being allowed by the state to jump to our continuous learning plan, which would be remote learning. Since we already have that in place anyway, it will allow us to continue with having school. We just won't have it in our buildings, and we have that process in place already, and it'll prevent us from having to make up days at the end of the school year. Our principals are frequently reminded of that continuous learning plan and how we would jump from that remote from tonight till in the morning. If they got that call tonight at 8 o'clock and said, hey, tomorrow all virtual, they know how to do that. We're prepared and we're ready to jump to that platform at a moment's notice, and we continue to review that throughout so that it'll be a smooth transition for our students and employees. Ms. Williams has already recognized Ms. Hawkins as our new principal at Arlington Elementary, but I too wanted to acknowledge you for the position. We're looking forward to the leadership that you're bringing to that position, and we know what you're capable of, and so we're looking forward to that. Ms. Miranda Manley, we made an announcement. She will be the accountability supervisor taking Ms. Hawkins' place, and she was actually here today working, shadowing Ms. Hawkins, and so that'll be a smooth transition for us. And Ms. Hawkins has been shadowing Ms. Jones, also taking a lot of notes. She told me the other day, so but we're excited about you in that position. I also wanted to, just a point of personal privilege, say happy birthday to Miss Dana Viox, who's not here tonight, but today is her birthday, and Dana has been sort of an ad hoc member of my executive team this year because she has worked very closely with us throughout this pandemic and opening, getting our schools open with sports and church plans and you name it. Dana's been on it. So I wanted to acknowledge Dana tonight and wish her a happy birthday, even though she's not here with us tonight. And that concludes my report. And at this time, I would like to.
Mr. Mayo,
yes.
before you move on,
Sure.
I had just a couple of questions.
Sure.
One, just a point. As a father of a son that played football in the fall as much as he could before he got in those quarantine bubbles, I'm really thankful that the district made that decision for our kids. And seeing it, pretty up close and personal on all the precautions that were put into place and the stands and just the multitudes of layers that went into. I'm just thankful for that decision. We saw some other people around us that didn't make those decisions, and I think it was detrimental to the children there. And so I'm really, really thankful that you made that decision.
I appreciate
So thank you for doing that.
Sure.
Secondly, I had just scuttlebutt through the a grapevine was that I'd heard that Lakeland was not gonna start back until January 7th. Is that true?
That is
what
true.
you've heard? Okay.
If
Any
you were-
reason behind any of that that you're aware of?
They did not start late. They started on time because they didn't have a high school. You know, our main reason was really, even though everybody could have did benefit from our delayed start, our big dilemma was with our high school and the hybrid model, and they had to rework so many schedules with the course offerings that weren't offered virtually, some were, then kids had to have their schedules switched. So because of that, we made that decision along with giving our other teachers at other grade levels more prep time. Lakeland did not do that. They started on their regular start time, which gave them those 5 extra days for stockpile. My understanding from Dr. Horrell was that they're going to use those days for professional development to allow their teachers to have some time, since they got the days now that they didn't use at the beginning,
Right.
to give them a segue back into second semester.
Gotcha.
And he did share that with all the other superintendents prior to making that announcement.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
And at this point, I'll ask Dr. Clark to come and do a brief report for us.
Good evening. First, I'll begin with the December substitute rates. As you are aware that there has been an increase in COVID, and Superintendent Mayo did share those statistics with you, how they've impacted our district. In our previous months, we had had a sub-fill rate of 96%, and currently it's at 85%. It fluctuates among the schools with maybe 1 to 2 unfilled jobs, and half of our schools at 100% on that day and the other half not. As Superintendent Mayo mentioned to you, there were 2 teacher assistant positions posted in the district, 1 at each elementary school, and that's to help mainly with the focus of students who are coming back into the school that have not been there the first semester. And I'd like to commend all the principals, because last week I spent some time with the principals at the school, and their focus is really how do we make sure that the students that weren't with us first semester feel like they received the same welcome as the students who started first semester. So I do want to commend the principals, because at all of the schools, they've really taken that focus and making sure they have that same opportunity for orientations, and even like the virtual welcome and opening to parents to acclimate them into the structures of our school. So that was very positive that I saw last week. So with those 2 teacher assistant positions, 1 is already filled, and I anticipate the other one will be recommended and probably filled by the end of this week. And then we did have 3 teacher resignations, as well as we have an interim, and then we had an assistant in one of our schools. Well, all those positions were quickly filled, and a lot of those positions were filled with substitutes that we have on staff that are certificated, or they were, like with the teacher assistant, we have lunchroom monitors, so someone filled that type of position. So it shows that we are in a district that is very attractive to people, and they want to be employed full-time in our district. One of the positions was filled from someone who was completing their certificate in science, and they were able to fill the position, and they served as the in-school suspension monitor. So we can easily take some of those positions and people finishing their degrees to fill our teaching positions. And another one of our interims came from one of the virtual fairs at the University of Alabama that I participated in. So we have continued to be, my focus is we have an outstanding school district, and I'm very proud of our district. And I just think we're awesome, and everybody should want to work in this school district. So when it first started, that I thought, okay, I'm not going to be out able to go and see face to face and convince people this is the best school district in the world and you want to apply to this district, and we'll decide if we want you or not. Then I thought, what am I going to do? So you know how talented Tyler Hill is with all his video and his technology. So I go to Tyler and I said, Tyler, we're in a new era now. I need your little young mind with all your creativity to help me that I did not grow up in this world. And so we put our brains together, and I thought if we could take some of the people that we've hired through the past few years who just, you know, we recruited maybe from other school districts and they just love it here. And if we made them part of the video and we had a student leader in our district highlight our video, I said, Tyler, I want it to be at the end of it, everybody wants to apply for this district. They just think they've got to get their foot in the door at our district. So Tyler was very successful and he helped me create this video. And I want to share it with you tonight. It's only been shared with the teachers that are part of it. And I'd like to share who is part of it. Now the moderator is Dara Adam-Malikum and Dara Adam-Malikum, and she's the Tennessee Association Student Council. She's the president of that. And she's also at large a board member of the Arlington High School Student Council. So she will moderate this. And then as well, the teachers are Chesley Tarpley at Donaldson Elementary School, Courtney McKnight at Arlington High School, Brenda Maddox at Arlington High School that we pulled out of retirement. She used to teach at Arlington Middle School. Bobby Anderson at Arlington Middle School, and Lauren Willoughby at Arlington Elementary School. So I want to take this time to share this because this is what people are seeing about our district when I recruit.
Hello and welcome to Arlington. My name is Dara Adam-Malikum and I'm a proud student of Arlington High School. As a first-generation American, born to immigrant parents, I was raised to respect the importance of a strong education. It's why my parents chose Arlington as our home, and it's why I grew up in this school system. I'm actually one of very few students who have attended all 4 schools here, and throughout my time, my teachers have always inspired me to be my best. It's more than just meeting benchmarks here in Arlington. It's about going beyond the standards to learn more about yourself and the world around you. I'm excited to show you ACS, my home, and maybe yours one day too. Welcome to Arlington Community Schools.
I've always said I'm from Memphis, and then it's like, well, am I from Memphis? I'm really from Bartlett, or now I'm really from Arlington. And there's so many suburbs inside of Memphis, and I always say that it gives you the small town feel, but it's such a big city, and there's so much that you can do.
I think it's something that's very neat about Shelby County is the wide variety of school systems that we have. And so what's cool about that is that I'm at Arlington, but then there are teachers all around the county that are from a different high school that I can collaborate with.
Arlington is very unique because it is truly a community school. And all these children grew up together. They went to kindergarten together. They know each other. All the parents know each other. You just don't get that everywhere.
Our flagship school, Arlington High School, is the home of the Tigers, with 2,100 students and nearly 130 teachers and staff members. Here, there's truly something for everyone. Arlington High offers 31 college-level courses and 12 industry certifications that give students the competitive background they need to enter college or the workforce directly. From welding and machining to dual enrollment courses like pre-nursing and entrepreneurship, teachers here are preparing students for a life beyond the 4 corners of the classroom.
The faculty here just really strives to provide a great education for the students. And so that in and of itself makes other people want to be better teachers. And so there's never a point where I feel like I can coast, because I look around me and I see in all departments people that are striving to be better and do better for the students and teach more effectively, and that pushes me to want to be better too.
Being a proud Tiger means that you're involved in more ways than just academics. AHS offers more than 50 clubs and organizations to help students find a place that they belong. And with the Paid Fine Arts Academy, Collegiate Academy, and the Academy of Engineering and Innovation, there are endless opportunities for students to grow academically and as citizens of the future.
I have the opportunity to be on the leadership team for our school because I'm the social studies department chair. And so that's not something I don't think a lot of schools have, where different teacher leaders meet with our administration once a month to talk about different things at the schools. And I just think that's really cool that they at least take our input, because sometimes I think in a lot of schools, you hear teachers talking about how, gosh, well, nobody even asked the teachers. And I feel like there are a fair amount of times where we are consulted. That doesn't necessarily mean I always get my way, but my voice is heard.
They are constantly trying to remind us that we count and that they appreciate us. This is a collaboration. It's a cohort. It is, I am walking the halls, I'm gonna step into your room and say hi. I may even sit down and help you grade papers. Those are the type of people we have. It's like we have one goal, that is to train these children and to get them to be the best that they can be and get them to whatever program they wanna go to, whether it's a four-year institution, whether it's trade school. We wanna send the best because we want people to look back and say, hey, we know if the kid comes from Arlington, they are prepared. So it's one family, one goal, one team.
At Arlington Community Schools, we know how important technology will be in the future. So we've invested time and resources to become a one-to-one iPad district in all grades K through 12. Our teachers play a critical role in turning these devices into strategic tools for student learning and engagement, which is why every teacher in ACS is given a MacBook and an iPad. And perhaps no school has done better at implementing technology than the Arlington Middle School, our very first nationally and internationally recognized Apple Distinguished School. AMS is one of only 500 schools worldwide to be recognized as an Apple Distinguished School, and we received this coveted award for embracing technology in every facet of the educational experience at AMS.
At Arlington, we want to go outside the four walls as much as we can and relate what we're teaching to real life and why it matters. For one moment, we can learn about, say, unit rates, and we can go to academy.com. We can look at geometry, like at surface area and volume. We can go look at building floor plans. There's an unlimited amount of opportunities to learn and do real-world situations with technology.
AMS consistently ranks among the highest in the state for its academic achievement and is also one of the very few middle schools in West and Central Tennessee to offer a 5-day-a-week performing arts program in chorus, orchestra, and band.
I don't want to paint a perfect district. I don't want to just say, oh, this is all sunshine and rainbows, it's all great. Oh, we make our mistakes, but the thing that matters is that when mistakes are made, they're looked at, they're fixed, and we are encouraged to not make that again and to grow from it. It's that going in and how we handle failure, how we handle something not going well will define how strong our success is.
ACS is also home to 2 thriving and high-achieving elementary schools, Arlington and Donaldson elementary schools. Arlington Elementary is one of the oldest schools in Shelby County, Tennessee, and has continued its tradition of achieving educational success for more than 135 years. Educating more than 850 students, AES boasts an average classroom size below the state average, and more than half of the school's teaching staff has an advanced degree.
Something that I think is really great for us as educators is that we have professional development that's offered from the district level that's intentional, it is well planned, and it is always to meet the needs of our students, but also the families we serve.
The district really hones in on the teachers and what we need and how we can be supported. They're not a fit-all approach. It's more you as an educator pick the sessions that best suit you, and you're able to really pick sessions that will help build your skill set.
At ACS, parents know the importance of getting involved in our schools, and Arlington Elementary's PTA group is one to rival. Each year, they raise tens of thousands of dollars which directly benefit the school, from classroom supplies to technology and playground enhancements.
I feel like our community is very much a family. I feel like, I have this family that I was born into, but then I have this school family. And my birthday just passed last week, and all of a sudden I get an email from the superintendent that says, "Happy birthday." And that was amazing because to me that is family. When a superintendent remembers one of his many employees' birthdays, and that was just amazing. It made me feel so special.
Last, and certainly not least, is Donaldson Elementary School. Donaldson Elementary is the youngest school in ACS, having opened its doors in 2009. Despite its age, this school quickly established itself as a top-tier elementary school in the state. DES is the district's first and only National Blue Ribbon School for being among the highest performing schools in the nation, and has consistently been named a reward school for its academic excellence in the state.
At any given time, you can come in and you'll find visitors in our hallways. You'll see them doing red reading folders in kindergarten. You'll see parents eating lunch with their children. You'll see them here for STEM night, Community Reader Day, Career Day. We just try to bring in the community where they see what's going on in our school and they really feel a part of the education that we're providing to our students.
With 4 thriving and innovative schools, endless educational opportunities, and a designated top workplace with among the highest paid teachers in the state, The ACS community is a wonderful place to start your family and career. We are Arlington, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Dr. Clark and Mr. Hill for putting all that together. It was excellent, and certainly a great recruitment tool, not only for our district, but the mayor may want to have that for Ms. Howell for the chamber, and we're happy to share that. Mr. Goforth, do you have an update?
No report.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Douglas?
No report.
All right. Mr. Ruff?
No report tonight.
Ms. Speakman?
I only have a report because he asked me to. I wouldn't say I swear. So I'll try to make it really fast. This summer, Superintendent Mayo came to me and he said, look, this is how you could help me. Is that I think it's a little late to tell me what the new laws are. I want you to tell me what people are thinking could be the laws, and then that way I can better plan to, run interference or that sort of thing. So things are starting to heat up really quickly, and by your next board meeting, some of these things are probably going to have already happened. So he asked me tonight to give you a quick overview of stuff that's probably not in the newspaper. So some of it is, some of it's not, but I'll be fast. So first of all, the General Assembly convenes on January 12th. And so it's being discussed that there's going to be a special session of the General Assembly that is going to be about a 2-week special session. And it would relate primarily just to education. So this is a good thing for us because it would mean we would have some solid answers by the end of January as opposed to the end of May, which is what we would be dealing with if we didn't have a special session. So it would be really a good thing to encourage legislators to go forward with this special session. So I want to tell you what the Council of School Board Attorneys on the state and national level are saying in terms of legislation that could be coming down the pipe. First of all, one bill has already been filed, and it would hold districts harmless, just as your legislative agenda proposes, and that is in regard to the total number of enrollment. So a lot of districts are having a lesser student population during this time of COVID because some people just don't want to attend school, some people don't want to go to the online version and that sort of thing. Well, there is some discussion, and if you don't hear anything else I say, listen to this part. There is some discussion, there may be a push to exclude districts from the hold harmless bill if they have not offered some version of in-person schooling. So that could be a sticky wicket on one of those bills. Other bills that might likely be considered will relate to holding teachers harmless for sports. Again, that is on your legislative agenda, so I know you're happy to hear that. Again, it's with the exception of observations, though, because it appears that the legislature or the legislators are still interested in you guys going forward with these observations and giving teachers some feedback, even though it won't necessarily count in regard to the final score. And then another bill that will likely be addressed pertains to learning loss. And when they use those words, we're not exactly sure what that is going to look like, but that's the word that's being thrown around. So I wanted to let you know about that. On a grander level, on the federal front, there are several bills that have been proposed. It's expected there will be a general education funding bill pertaining to COVID in the amount of $82 billion. Another bill that's expected to be considered pertains to broadband deployment. A proposed amount for that bill is $10 billion. Another bill pertains to liability protection for schools, but that bill ties scholarship grants to private schools, which has kind of been the pushback from public school advocates on that bill, so not really sure how that one will go on. Another is a bipartisan piece of legislation that pertains to targeted investments for supporting students with disabilities. An early proposal for that subject of legislation earmarks $11 billion for Part B grants, $1.2 billion for early childhood programs for special needs students, and $55 million in assistive technology just for students with disabilities. And then the last proposal that would have the most relevance for ACS is a payroll tax credit pertaining to governmental entities that applies when an employee is given time off due to medical emergencies, again, just pertaining to COVID. Now, this relief was provided to private employers in the CARES Act, but they excluded governmental entities, so we weren't able to take advantage of that. So some legislators are looking at that as being an alternative, as an extension of the FFCRA. Some people, though, want the tax credit and then also an extension of the FFCRA, which, as you know, pertains to leave time related to COVID for our employees. So I tried to make that super quick, Mr. Mayo. I hope that covered the topics you wanted. Have a good night and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Speakman. Mr. Hill?
No report.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McDaniel?
You want the financial report now?
Oh, sure. Come on, Miss McDaniel. Let's do the financial report.
The exciting stuff. Good evening. The October 2020 financial report. Our general fund year-to-date revenues are $10.3 million. Our expenditures are $12.8 million. With the nutrition fund, we have revenues of $214,000, expenditures of $260,000. Federal and discretionary grant funds, revenues right at $1 million and expenditures right at $1 million. CIP fund in revenues are $326,000 and expenditures at $1.6 million. And then for the Interlocal Health Benefits Plan Asset Trust Report, October, year-to-date revenues $12.9 million and expenses at $9.2 million. And our net position beginning balance was $6.7 million and the ending balance is $7.7 million. And that takes care of the financial report.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
McDaniel.
you.
All right, we're ready for the TLN report, and I just want to make sure that I acknowledge Mr. Hill again. Mr. Hill, are you just taking over or what? This is our legislative agenda, and Mr. Hill is responsible for the way this looks this year, and we certainly appreciate his expertise on this, and makes our legislative agenda look good. I don't think they'll throw it in the trash can, maybe, you know? They might just say, hey, that looks pretty good. So hopefully, thank you, Mr. Hill, for your contribution to that. And I want to thank Mr. Mayo again and Ms. Speakman for working with me on the legislative agenda. I certainly appreciate it very, very much. And as Ms. Speakman said, the General Assembly will convene at noon on January the 12th, 2021, so that is very close. So I'm going to appreciate that all of us work together again on making sure that we're going to help the General Assembly to understand what the needs are for our school system and certainly for public education. So that will be very important that we work together on that. Also, I did run off today the TSBA legislative agenda. I don't know if you had a copy, and Dale, I bet you do it,
Thank you.
but I want to make sure y'all have a copy handy and you can look at that carefully and see. And could you, yeah, thank you. So we will be working, I hope, tirelessly during the session and even before the session starts, making sure our legislative agenda does get to all of our legislators, and especially our two local ones. And we'll work with TSBA when they need our help in talking to legislators. Let me just ask, Miss, is anyone going to the Legislative and Legal Institute in Nashville?
Okay.
Are you going?
Yeah, because we have the TSBA board meets the day before.
So you're going to, good,
Yeah.
good. Thank you, Dale. Dale, do you mind reporting back to
Not
us
at all.
on that?
No, no,
That would be terrific.
Sure.
I'll be honest with you, the last time I went to Nashville, I got sick, so I'm not going this time, okay?
I'll be vaccinated by then, so I'll be good.
Will you have the vaccine by then? Okay, good. All right. We'll let Dr. Viox report on that for us when he gets back. It looks like the legislative breakfast is off this year. I know you can understand why, since of COVID, so no legislative breakfast this year. All right, let's move on. So, consent agenda, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move.
Second?
All right, it's been moved by Mr. Lamar and seconded by Mr. Benjamin. All those in favor say aye. Oh, any discussion, I'm sorry. Anybody? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it and the motion's carried. Superintendent Mayo, we are ready for you to lead us through our agenda.
Okay, the item 9A is the resolution to approve the budget amendment. This is just our regular monthly amendment where we only has to be approved by this board, where we have to move funds around within the same account. That information is attached to your agenda. So it is my recommendation that you approve Resolution 2020-23 of the ACS Board of Education amending the 2021 schools budget.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Ms. Conley and seconded by Mr. Benjamin. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Next item.
Okay, the next item is a recommendation to approve, make sure I'm on the right. There it is.
9B.
Yep,
10B.
10B.
Yeah.
10B.
Oh, excuse me.
So what you have before you is the project, the wrestling facility project, which we expanded to include an additional parking lot and also soccer concession stands and restrooms. We found initially when we first started on this project that we could do all of that for about the same price as the initial estimate for just the wrestling gym. So we decided it would be cost effective to try to do all of those things at the same time. Plus it also gives some equity with both male and female sports and those facilities, and so that's something that I think is important as we move these projects forward. I had an opportunity to communicate with each of you individually about the scope of work for this project, and an opportunity for you to ask questions, and certainly when the motion gets on the floor, you can ask me any questions that you would like to tonight. So with that, my recommendation is that you all approve the bid for Arlington High School Wrestling Gymnasium, parking lot expansion, soccer concessions, and restroom facility project in the amount of $3,638,854 with a contingency of $125,000, and grant me the authority to negotiate the terms of the related contract. And I am recommending that you award that contract to Chris Woods Construction Company. I do want to say we had two outstanding finalists for this work. Everything was pretty well equal all the way down to the timelines when we started looking at it. So at the end of the day, it came down to the cost. And Chris Woods Construction Company came in a little under that cost for us. The exact amount is about $281,010. So because of that, all things else being equal, that is my recommendation before you tonight.
Okay, then you have heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All right, motion has been made by Mr. Lamar, seconded by Ms. Conley. Is there any discussion?
What is the completion date on this project as we see it today?
It looks like about July 6th, 2021. There's certain phases of the project. The first phase, the parking lot expansion, is projected about around February the 12th. The concession stand, restroom add-on about May 24th, and then July 6th for the completion of the gym, which will be the last project.
So we'll be ready for next school year?
Should be, yes.
Good, thank you.
And they want to start tomorrow if this is approved.
Nice.
Any other questions? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it and the motion's carried.
Ms.
Next.
Williams, Mr. Woods, I think, is here tonight, and Doug Burris from Renaissance is also here, architect. So,
Nice. Thank you for coming. Did y'all want to speak? If you want to speak, you certainly can.
I believe Mr. Woods was the contractor on our last project here. We just had an opening.
He was for the indoor athletic facility.
Yeah, well, we appreciate y'all choosing us. It's been a great experience with the school and had a very successful project in our minds. And, you know, y'all do a great job here. I'm really flattered that we'll be able to help you on it. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir. We
Woods.
appreciate you coming.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, next item.
TNC.
Oh, I've got a little off here. The next item is, it's that time of year where we're starting to get ready for our 21-22 budget, and you have been given the calendar, the preparation calendar, the planning preparation calendar for that. So it is my recommendation that you approve the budget planning preparation calendar for the 2021-22 budget preparation.
All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion?
So
Motion
moved.
to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lamar, second by Dr. Viox. Is there any discussion?
Ms. Williams, can I add some information on that?
You bet, because I was just going to mention it.
If
Go ahead.
If you will look at the budget calendar, you all will get the budget pretty much a week before you start having the one-on-one meetings with the chief financial officer and myself. So we put a little bit more time there this year than has been in the past, and that'll give you a little bit more time to become comfortable with that budget before you come in and have your one-on-one meeting. So that was something that we strategically did in this year's budget calendar.
I think that's going to be very helpful for us. I think we've all kind of said that we'd like to see that happen, so we appreciate you doing that. You and Ms. McDaniel. All right. Now, we already moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried. All right, we're ready for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, Mr. Lamar has moved. We need a second. Second by Ms. Conley. It's been moved and seconded for the meeting to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the meeting is adjourned.